how to be unshakable. Have you ever wondered why some people seem completely unflustered no matter what life throws at them, while others get frustrated over the smallest things? What if I told you that this ability is not something you're born with, but a skill you can learn and master? The unbreakable mindset. Take a look around and you'll notice something. The most powerful people aren't the ones who talk the loudest or react the fastest. They're the ones who remain calm, seemingly untouched by negativity, unaffected by criticism, and unmoved by the surrounding chaos. It's not that they don't have emotions, they do. But they've learned a simple truth. Reacting gives away your power. The moment you show frustration, anger, or insecurity, you hand control over to the outside world. You let people, circumstances, and random events control your emotions, and when that happens, you're no longer in charge of yourself. Your emotions are being manipulated like a puppet. The silent strength of emotional control. Now, think about the most composed person you know. It might be a leader, a mentor, or someone you admire. What makes them different? It's their capacity to remain still in the face of chaos. They don't explain themselves, they don't rush to defend, and they don't shatter their own peace just to prove a point. This is because they've mastered a psychological trick, the ability to act unbothered even when they are. Here's the secret. The mind follows the body. If you act unaffected, your brain starts to believe it. If you carry yourself with calmness, your emotions will adapt, and over time, this stops being an act. It becomes your reality. Why acting unbothered is a superpower. Psychologists refer to this as cognitive dissonance. When your actions don't align with your emotions, your brain works to bring them into alignment. That's why when you act confident, you become confident. When you act unfazed, you become unfazed. But the opposite is also true. The more you react, the weaker you become. The more you engage in pointless arguments, the more power you lose. Every time you let something disrupt your peace, you reinforce the idea that the world has control over you. So, starting today, you must make a decision. Will you let the world dictate your emotions, or will you reclaim your power? What happens when you stop reacting? Imagine walking into a room where someone tries to insult you, but you don't react. You don't defend yourself, and you don't explain. You just smile and move on. What happens next? At first, they might try harder to provoke you, but then something interesting occurs. They lose interest. They see they have no power over you, and suddenly they stop trying, because that's how human psychology works. People only push buttons when they know they work. When you remove the reaction, you remove their control, and that's when you become powerful. Your first step toward unshakable confidence. From this moment forward, commit to this one mindset. Nothing outside of me controls me. I choose what affects me. I decide where my energy goes. Every time you feel the urge to react, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? 9 times out of 10, the answer will be no. You are not your emotions. You are the observer of them. Your reaction is the key. Most people believe that emotions control them, that feelings of anger, sadness, or frustration are forces they have no choice but to obey. But this is an illusion. The truth is, emotions don't control you, your reaction to them does. The moment you understand this, you gain something most people never will. Freedom. Think about the last time something upset you. Maybe someone said something hurtful, or a situation didn't go your way. Now, ask yourself, was it the event that disturbed you, or was it your reaction to it? Your mind is a powerful machine, constantly creating emotions based on how you interpret situations. If you believe an insult is an attack on your worth, you feel hurt. But if you see it as meaningless noise, it carries no weight. The strongest people don't lack emotions. They simply refuse to let them dictate their actions. They recognize that feelings are temporary, but decisions have lasting consequences. So instead of reacting instantly, They pause, observe, and choose their response. In that small gap between emotion and reaction, they reclaim their power. This is emotional mastery. When you stop letting emotions control you, everything changes. Stress no longer breaks you. People's opinions lose their grip on you. And unexpected challenges no longer shake your confidence, because you're no longer a slave to your feelings. You're in control. The power of consistent training, starting now. Whenever an emotion rises within you, don't fight it or suppress it. Simply acknowledge it and then decide, is this worth my energy? The moment you start choosing your responses, instead of reacting on impulse, you step into a level of power most people never reach, a power that makes you unshakable. Your mind believes what you tell it. Every thought, reaction, and emotion you reinforce becomes a pattern. If you constantly react with frustration, your mind learns that frustration is your default state. If you let stress consume you, your brain adapts to see stress as normal. But here's the good news: you can rewire your mind. Resilience isn't about being emotionless. It's about conditioning your mind to stay steady no matter what happens. Psychologists call this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reprogram itself based on repeated experiences. This is where real strength is built. Imagine two people facing the same problem. One crumbles under pressure, drowning in negativity. The other stays calm, assessing the situation without panic. The difference is their mental conditioning. The first person has trained their brain to react emotionally. The second has trained their brain to remain steady. Which one do you think holds more power? Your mind is always listening to you. Every time you choose to stay calm instead of reacting, you teach it that you are in control. Every time you act unaffected, even when emotions try to take over, you train yourself to become stronger. Over time, something incredible happens. What once required effort becomes effortless. What started as acting unbothered turns into being unbothered. This is how resilience is built, not overnight, but through consistent training. So, from this moment forward, whenever something tries to shake you, remember, your mind believes what you feed it. Feed it strength, control, and the belief that nothing can break you. Once your mind adapts to this reality, the world loses its ability to shake you. Action comes first. Feelings follow. Your mind follows your actions more than your feelings. This is why the most powerful psychological trick you can use is to act as if nothing bothers you, even when it does. Most people wait to feel confident before they act confidently. They wait to feel unbothered before they stop reacting. But that's not how the mind works. Action comes first, feelings follow. Think about a time when you forced yourself to smile, even when you didn't feel happy. What happened? Within moments, your mood started to shift. That's because your brain takes cues from your body. The same principle applies to emotional control. If you start behaving as if negativity doesn't affect you, your brain begins to believe it, and your emotions start aligning with your actions. Over time, this stops being an act. It becomes your natural state. This isn't about pretending. It's about training your mind. When someone insults you, instead of reacting, pause. Stay silent. Let their words disappear into nothingness. Your lack of reaction sends a powerful message, not just to them, but to yourself. When life throws unexpected challenges your way, straighten your posture, slow your breathing, and handle it with composure. Even if frustration rises inside, don't let it control your actions. The more you practice this, the more automatic it becomes. At first it might feel unnatural, but soon it becomes second nature. You'll wake up one day and realize that things that once triggered you no longer affect you, because by acting unbothered, you become unbothered. Once you reach that point, nothing, not people, circumstances, or even your own passing emotions can shake you. The Art of Indifference. The world is full of people who will test your patience. Some will criticize you, others will try to provoke a reaction, and some will attempt to make you feel small or unworthy. But here's what most people don't realize. The moment you react, you lose. When someone can trigger your emotions, they have power over you. The more you respond with anger, frustration, or defensiveness, the more control you hand over to them. This is exactly what they want, to see you affected, disturbed, and to feel like they can manipulate your state of mind. Have you ever noticed how some people love to push buttons? They say things just to get a reaction. They feed off of drama because your reaction gives them validation. It proves that their words have weight. But the moment you stop reacting, something shifts. They lose interest, get frustrated, and realize they have no power over you. This is where true strength lies, not in arguing or explaining, but in silence and calmness, in showing without a word that nothing they say or do can shake you. From now on, whenever someone tries to provoke you, remind yourself their words mean nothing unless you give them meaning. Ignore them, not because you're weak, but because you refuse to hand over your power. Once you master this, the game changes. You no longer move through life reacting to every little thing. You move with controlled confidence and an unshakable presence. When people realize they can't manipulate your emotions, they stop trying. The power of detachment. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every comment needs a response. Not every situation requires your energy. Most people spend their lives reacting, absorbing negativity, and letting small things disturb their peace. But here's the truth. What you ignore loses power over you. Negativity is like a fire. It only grows when you feed it. Every time you engage with toxic people, dwell on criticism, or let frustration take over, you're adding fuel to the fire. But the moment you withdraw your energy, the fire dies. This is the power of detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you refuse to let external chaos control your inner state. It means you recognize that not everything is worth your reaction. Think about it. How many times have you lost sleep over someone's words? How many hours have you wasted replaying negative situations in your mind? And for what? Did it change anything? Or did it just drain you? From this moment on, make a decision. Protect your energy. When negativity comes your way, step back, observe it, and then choose to let it go. Not because you're avoiding reality, but because you refuse to give your peace away so easily. This is how the strongest people operate. They don't engage in unnecessary battles or waste energy on things that don't serve them. They stay focused, calm, and untouchable. Once you master this, your silence becomes louder than words, and your indifference becomes your greatest strength. Pause before you react. The difference between weak and strong people is one simple habit: the ability to pause before reacting. Most people operate on impulse. The moment something upsets them, they lash out. They let emotions take over without thinking or having control. But here's the truth. Your first reaction is usually the weakest one. Powerful people don't react. They respond. They create space between the trigger and their action. That space, the pause, is where real strength is built. Next time something provokes you, try this. Don't react immediately. Take a deep breath. Feel the emotion rising, but don't act on it. Just observe it and let it pass through you like a wave. In that moment, you take back control. You are no longer a slave to impulse. You are in charge of your own emotions. This is what separates those who are easily manipulated from those who command respect. When you pause, you force people to wait. You make them uncertain. They don't know what you're thinking or how to control you, and that is power. The next time someone insults you, pause. The next time frustration rises, pause. The next time life tests you, pause. Because in that small moment of stillness, you make the decision that weak people never make, the decision to stay in control. Indifference is power. Indifference is not weakness. It is one of the most powerful tools you can ever possess. Most people believe that showing emotions is a sign of strength, that expressing frustration or anger proves they're alive and in control. But the truth is, the most powerful people are often the most indifferent. Indifference isn't about not caring. It's about choosing what you care about. It's about realizing that you have the ability to decide which emotions deserve your energy and which do not. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how some people can insult others and provoke them, yet those people remain unfazed? They don't argue, they don't try to explain, and they don't even look disturbed. They simply don't react. That is indifference at its finest. It's not about being cold or detached from the world. It's about choosing not to let petty things disturb your peace. It's about showing the world that you can't be manipulated by their words, actions, or opinions. The more you embrace indifference, the more untouchable you become. The more you stop engaging with trivial matters, the less power those matters have over you. It's not that you don't care about important things. It's that you refuse to waste energy on things that won't change your reality. So every time something tries to pull you out of your calm, remind yourself, I am indifferent to what does not serve me. This doesn't mean you shut out the world. It means you stop allowing the world to control your emotions. You hold the power to decide how you feel. No one else. When you embody this level of indifference, you start walking through life with an unshakable calm and an unspoken strength that no one can touch. The practice of unbothered. Staying unbothered doesn't happen overnight. It's not something you wake up with. It's something you build one decision at a time. The mind is like a muscle. Just as you train your body to become stronger, you can train your mind to become unshakable. It starts with small moments, little choices, and consistent practice. At first, it may feel unnatural. When life throws you a curveball, your instinct might be to react, but the more you pause and choose not to engage, the easier it becomes. Over time, your mind learns to stay calm in the face of stress, frustration, or negativity. Every time you let a minor irritation pass without reacting, you build resilience. Every time you remain silent in the face of criticism, you strengthen your mental toughness. Eventually, your brain adapts, and what once felt like effort will soon become your new default. The key is consistency. Just like a physical workout, you need to put in the time and practice this mindset daily. It might not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Think of it like training for a marathon. In the beginning, you might struggle with every step, but as you keep going, your body and mind grow stronger. Eventually, you'll be able to face challenges that would have once rattled you and handle them with ease. Start small. Let the little things go. Don't let minor annoyances steal your peace. Practice staying calm in situations where you'd normally react, and with time, you'll see the shift. You won't be shaken or disturbed. You'll be unbothered, and that will become your new way of life. Self-respect and boundaries. One of the most powerful forces in maintaining emotional control is self-respect. When you respect yourself deeply, you recognize that you are worthy of peace and emotional stability. You realize that you don't need to prove anything to anyone, and you certainly don't need to defend your peace. Self-respect is the foundation of emotional strength. It means understanding that your time, energy, and mental well-being are valuable. When you have this respect for yourself, you automatically stop giving others the power to affect your mood. Reacting to every little disturbance is a sign that you don't value your own emotional peace. It's a signal that you've allowed external factors to dictate your inner state. But when you cultivate self-respect, you draw boundaries with the world. You tell people with your actions, I value my peace too much to let you disturb it. When you set emotional boundaries, you define what is acceptable and what is not in terms of how people treat you. You stop allowing anyone to treat you in a way that disrupts your inner calm. This doesn't mean building walls or becoming defensive. It means making sure that your peace is non-negotiable. Think about how often you've been influenced by someone's behavior. Maybe someone snapped at you, or you got caught up in a toxic conversation. What happened next? You reacted. You let their emotional state control yours. But what if instead of reacting, you set an emotional boundary? What if, when someone tried to provoke you or drag you into negativity, you simply didn't allow it? This doesn't mean you ignore people or shut them out. It means you don't take on their emotional burdens. You stay centered in your own emotional space, regardless of what's going on around you. When you master the art of emotional boundaries, you become unshakable. You no longer allow others to have the power to affect your peace. You are protected by the strong foundation you've built within yourself. So today, start creating those boundaries. Recognize when someone or something is trying to drain your emotional energy and simply refuse to let it protect your peace. And in doing so, you protect your power. Letting go and finding peace. One of the most profound truths in life is that holding on to past grievances, negative emotions, or unhealed wounds only weakens you. It prevents you from fully embracing the present and stops you from growing into the strongest version of yourself. Letting go is the key to emotional freedom. It's not about forgetting or pretending that things didn't hurt you. It's about choosing to release the grip those emotions have on you. When you hold on to resentment, anger, or regret, you're allowing those emotions to control you. You're allowing the past to dictate your present. And most importantly, you're giving others and past situations the power to disturb your peace even long after they've passed. But what happens when you let go? You free yourself. You stop carrying emotional baggage that weighs you down. You stop letting old wounds dictate your behavior today. And by doing so, you reclaim your peace, energy, and power. Letting go requires trust. Trust that the past is behind you and that the pain is no longer relevant to who you are becoming. It's an act of self-liberation. A declaration that your peace and emotional well-being are far more important than clinging to anything that doesn't serve you. Imagine walking through life with nothing weighing you down, no past regrets, no old grudges, no unnecessary drama. Picture yourself as light as air, moving through challenges with grace and strength because you no longer let them attach themselves to your soul. That is the power of letting go. It frees you, empowers you, and transforms you. So today, decide to let go of the anger, the resentment, and the disappointments. In doing so, you'll make room for the peace and strength that you've always had within you. The power of silence. Silence holds an unparalleled power. In a world that thrives on constant noise, drama, and verbal sparring, silence is the most potent weapon in your emotional arsenal. When faced with conflict, frustration, or attempts to provoke you, silence speaks louder than words. It's a response that doesn't require justification, defense, or engagement. It's the ultimate display of control and self-respect. Think about it. When you choose silence in the face of a difficult situation, you take the power away from the other person. You refuse to let their words or actions dictate your response. Silence is not weakness. It's strength in its purest form. When you remain silent, you create space for reflection. You allow yourself the time to think, process, and decide how you want to react, if at all. Most people react impulsively, driven by their emotions. But when you embrace silence, you stand apart from that chaos. You become the observer, not the participant. Silence also protects you from saying things you might regret. It allows you to step back and assess the situation from a place of clarity and calm rather than responding out of anger or frustration. The words you don't say are often more powerful than the ones you do. In any situation, silence signals that you are in control. It shows that you are unaffected by the drama, the noise, and the attempt to pull you into chaos. You choose peace over conflict and strength over weakness. So, the next time you are provoked or caught in a situation that threatens your emotional peace, remember this: silence is your strength. Embrace it and let it be your shield, because in the quiet moments, you hold the greatest power, the power to stay calm, composed, and unbothered no matter what.